Welcome to Sit Down Stand Up with John Malkin, the show where comedy meets conversation. Get ready for a ride full of laughs, stories from the stage, and possibly a few surprises. And now, here's your host, John Malkin.
All right, welcome to another episode of Sit Down Stand Up with John Malkin. I am your host, John Malkin. Before we start the show, we have a really cool guest today. But before we start the show, I just want you to know it's very hot out today, and I am wearing Crocs. I never wear Crocs outside the house. I just wear them to walk the dog. And I went to walk my dog, and I went to the car, and I'm wearing Crocs. And they're actually very comfortable. But if people who wear Crocs outside the house, it's like illegal in 9 states. So I'm not
Is it
sure if
really?
it's illegal in Connecticut. It must be. It does not look good on my leg. So Crocs will never be a sponsor of my show, but that's okay. So we've got this is a really cool guest we have on today. He is a comic and a content creator, and his content, which we're going to talk about, is I'm going to try and do the best way to describe it. As I know he's going to do a much better job than I am, but it's comedy, motivational speaking, and just feel good life enchanting and all that, and it's really cool. From New Jersey, please welcome Anthony CESSESE. Anthony,
Thanks for having me, John.
thanks for coming on, man. We had a little technical difficulty, but I think we're doing okay right now. Excellent. So thanks for coming on the show. You are a really unique individual because I was watching a lot of your content. So first of all, I am not a social media maven by any stretch of the imagination. I probably need to spend more time doing that. But you've already got, well over 100,000 followers following your content. You're a comic. You're very versatile in your messaging and your material. And I want to talk about that because the way you describe yourself is that you allow yourself to connect with individuals on various levels, making them relatable and making you an effective comic and speaker. And you're from New Jersey, which we should start there, but that's okay. So I was watching a lot of your material and reading some of the comments that people say. I mean, your comedy is very funny because I was watching some of the shows that you filmed at some of these comic clubs. But then you're doing kind of like motivational life. It's a really interesting mix, and people are saying like, "Oh, I listen to you. I look for your posts every morning and all that." Describe who you are and what you do. It's fantastic.
It's really crazy because I started creating content years ago and I didn't really understand it, and admittedly I think I got into creating content for like all the wrong reasons. I wanted to people to know who I was and what I was doing, and I wanted people to understand me, and I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I didn't know for years, and I only just figured it out in the last year or so, but like the last year or so I've been having so much fun that it's just like, I don't know, it's like everything is on fire and I'm just going. Everything.
I love it. That's amazing. I'm getting some echo in my cans, which is one of my favorite Stormy Daniels movies. Can fix that for me? There we go. Excellent.
Ooh, that sounds a lot better.
So that sounds a lot better. Did you start out as a comic or a content creator where you were just because, for example, here let me just. So I was watching a couple of the clips that you're posting and all that, and you got a lot of people responding. Like you just come out and you're filming yourself and you're saying you said. You talk about the fact that you woke up today, right? And that's a miracle. I mean, it's as if you're talking to people who are saying like, "Hey, you're successful in the fact that you were able to get up today and do something." There was a lot of people in the world that don't have that opportunity, so you're kind of using that foundation to say, "Hey, don't worry." And actually, when I'm talking about that, because you use the word worry as you describe your tour, but you're saying like, hey, don't worry, man. You're up, you're at 'em, you're doing something. Everything else is just kind of trivial.
Yeah, it's like we get so stuck in the redundancy of like what we have to do in life, and like I meet so many people that are just, they're defeated, they're deflated, they have no wind in their sails, and everything's going the wrong way, and it's really easy to find a problem with everything. If you look around, there's problems everywhere. They're plenty abundant. And when I'm making my content, I don't want people to look at my content and think, oh, here's another guy who's just doing whatever it is. Like I want this to really reach people deep down, because I want people to feel as if they are understood when they watch my content, whether it's a ridiculous video of me in the car just talking off the cuff, or if it's me at a show, doing a set. It's a critical part of my writing style that I want people to feel as if they are understood and they are seen, and people eat it up. They love it.
Oh, no. Now, do you integrate this kind of foundation, this motivational, inspirational into your comedy as well? Because that would be challenging to make funny, because it's just so, like, it's not something when you say, like, oh man, you should just be excited that you got up today. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
People are going like, yeah.
Those two worlds
do you integrate
don't. Yeah, they don't coexist very well together, because there's not really a whole lot of comedy inside of the inspirational. So I think, with my stand-up and my writing, I integrate a lot of my life lessons and my personal stories. So these are things that I've gone through and I've overcome, and I've put a funny spin on them. So it's funny because, people will laugh at the jokes, but the writing is where the real magic is happening. The writing and the
Right.
reinventing what you're writing and constantly editing that's where you can turn that, okay, this has got an inspirational side, maybe no one will ever see it.
I got. Where did you get this foundation, this optimism in life? Because you look young. What are you, like 11? You're 12 years old. I mean,
Oh, come on. The last time I heard
You're
that, I
young-
was a
you're young.
dinosaur, John.
You're a young man. I mean, a lot of people at your age don't, are maybe they don't feel like they have the life experiences yet to all of a sudden say, all right, I got stuff, I got all this history to bring to you, but you do, because you bring it. Is there anything in particular that all of a sudden you said, I gotta get this out. This is important to me, and it's important to people that they see and hear it.
It's one of those things where I just wake up and it's burning in my chest every day. I want to create, I want to write, I want to do more. My parents were always a big part of the way I saw things, and my parents always had a very positive outlook. Granted, things weren't always positive, and I think I just naturally get that from them. But to anybody that's in their mid-20s, early 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever your age is, I think you have to have a positive outlook on things, because life can be sucky, and I've sucked for so long at so many different things that I don't want to get in my own way. I want to be able to create, I want to be able to write and not feel interrupted with the nuances of everyday life that say, be stressed out, you're broke, stress over that, or, you have this many things to do. I don't want to do that. I want to enjoy this. I want to have fun, and I want more than anything to like have as many people be a part of that as possible.
Man, that's just that. First of all, that's just amazing. I mean, it sounds like it's cathartic to you in a way. It's like a therapy session for the audience, or your viewing audience, and all your hundreds of thousands of followers. But also, it sounds like it's for you too. It's like you're waking up and you're posting something. There's clips of you you're driving in the car, and you're just like, what was the one? I wrote it down and said, we have a plan. Do what we. Let's see. I can't even remember my writing. So we have a. Oh shoot! I can't remember my writing. What did you say? You posted not that long ago. We have a plan. Do what you got. This is what we have. I mean, I'm listening to that. I'm like, my God, this is like, I'm just looking for a joint or something like that. I mean, that is deep.
It's I think it's good to paint with a broad brush, especially with content. You know, a lot of it is, you're either going to compete with people that are the best of the best that are creating content, or you're going to be yourself. You're going to create, content that is going to resonate with your audience, and how they take to you is how they take to you. Too many people are trying to create content so people understand them. Look at my new business, understand
Right,
what I'm doing,
right,
look
right,
at what I'm
right.
doing. And that's not what people want. People want to they want to feel understood. They want to feel like they're a part of this. And you just have to do what feels right to you, and your audience will know. People know. We're not.
Now, yeah. Now, do you consider yourself a religious or more spiritual person? Because a lot of this reflection, it might. I mean, it was. Let me ask you this question, um, because it just popped in my head, and I usually forget things immediately, so I'm going to try and get it out right away. Was there something in your life that created this, like some people might have like a near-death experience, or maybe someone close to them, had something, some trauma in your life? Was there something that said, "Oh my God, I got over it, and now I'm gonna climb to the mountaintop"?
I think we all go through trauma, so I'll preface it as, I don't I don't ever want those things to be a crutch for me. And I think we all deal with
Okay.
things that are relative to us, but my whole life has been rough. I always felt very misunderstood.
Really?
Um, yeah, I never felt like I
How
could fit in
so?
with.
If you-
I was
Really? Like,
just
if you
I've
don't mind me
always.
prying, because you're a
No, please
good-looking kid, you're
pry.
funny. Yeah, I'm gonna pry, but I mean, it's like I look at you, and it's not like I'm thinking like, oh my God, this guy. It's like, oh, I get it. I understand why. I mean, but you're dude. You're funny. You got a great smile. I'm not trying to hit on you. Trust me, but
I don't know,
but you
John.
you
I
know
feel like
you've
something's
got.
happening here.
I know, man. I know. It's just my producer's about. He's running. He's running. No, but I mean, it's like, it's not like I'm looking at you got like, and this sounds so un-PC, but it's got like, yeah, like a deformity, or you're like, something like tragic. You're like, oh, I get why I understand. But I mean, it looks like you got a lot going for you. You got a lot of followers. I mean,
It's
tell me about your
funny. It's
trauma.
it's funny because, and I love that you brought that up, because you know what you see is only 1% of what's taking place. You can see I got it all going for me, and
Okay.
and where I stand, I feel very good about what I have going for me. Creatively, spiritually, emotionally, personally, I feel like things are in a good place for me. Do I have my struggles? Of course, but that
Okay.
that doesn't go without saying that growing up, I was very introverted. I'm still very much so introverted. I'm very selective about who I want to be around.
Yeah.
I don't feel like a
Okay.
lot of my ideas are normal. I feel like some of the things that I write about and talk about, I never felt like I was the same as everybody else. I don't know how to really put it. I could
Okay.
tell that I was inherently different my whole life.
Okay. Now that was being different. Did you look at that as kind of a handicap? Because sometimes being different, because you're creative. So creative people like to say, "Hey, I'm different, and this is my art." Your art is content creation and comedy and all that. So, I mean, did you look at that as kind of an inhibitor or a handicap, or something like an opportunity? Because you're obviously you're taking advantage of this as an opportunity now, and you're bringing this out. But growing up, did you really feel like, man, because you did not weren't like everybody else, but did you we felt like an outcast, or
Yeah, I felt like my mom always says it as a joke. I wonder if she's listening. But yeah, she always says the
of
friends
course
of
she
the
is.
friendless. And I grew up just feeling like I wasn't a part of the pack, and I didn't understand that up until the last couple years. And in the last year or two, I started to realize, like, whoa, there's something magnetic here, that if I lean into it and
Yes.
accept that this is who I am, and accept that, I am a little crazy, and, I have a way and an air about me. I embraced it, and now
Yeah.
things look very different. They feel very different. I don't feel that way. You know, I think it's definitely a night and day difference compared to, you know, how I felt about it growing up.
So let me ask you this question because I went to my high school reunion last year. I'm not going to tell you what number. Um, do you? I found it because I was a very scrawny kid growing up, scrawny and big nose, and I didn't get the reason I get picked on because I was a class clown. So my only form of survival was to make people laugh, right? And my teachers, which is probably why I got a C minus and everything. Um, but when I went to my high school reunion, I found it kind of rewarding or satisfying in that, you know, here we are coming back, and then I'm looking at some of the people who were, you know, who were the cool kids or the popular
Quote
kids, or, you
unquote, the
know,
cool kids.
the
Yeah.
ones that look at the pack, you know. I'm like, oh my God, I've done so much better than you. Now, it wasn't like rubbing it in their face, but I don't, you know, because my buddy, I grew up in Chicago. My buddy's like, "Do you really want to go to this?" I'm like, "Heck yes, yes." I'm not doing it. I want to see what other people like. I want to go like, yes. You know, it was really kind of self fulfilling in a way. Do you have any of that? And when you grew up in Jersey, where you're like, you know, like here you are, you know, your career as a comic and a content creator. I mean, it's taken off, and you're doing well. I mean, do you see some of these people, and you're like, yeah, that's right, baby.
You know, a part of me wants to, but I don't know how to. I'm too humble about it. I think in a sense, I feel like, you know, I feel like let my work speak for myself. You already feel shitty about, you know,
Okay.
what you see me doing. I don't have to puff my chest out because you know where I came from and you see where I am, and that's enough to,
Yes,
you know. So let the proof be in the
I love
pudding.
it. I love it. You have a great video clip. First of all, how do people find you? Where do they go to find your social media and things like that?
So,
That's such a lame question. Where do you go to find your social media? No one asks that question. How do people find
2024.
Anthony?
That's where we are. It's the day and age, you know. It's what's your handle and how can we
Right?
locate you? And but people can go
Yes, yes.
to
So where do they find you?
Aunt CESSESE. It's Instagram and TikTok, and then on Facebook, you guys can just look me up through Anthony CESSESE. You can also go to my website, antcassese.com, and then all of my handles are on there. All of the information, merch, tour dates, shows
Love it.
coming up, shows past, you name
I
it, it's
love
all
it.
there.
Fantastic. Well, I was very proud of the fact that you actually put our show on your website. So thank you. I
No,
was very
of
honored.
course.
I was like, dang, wow, I'm somebody. I'm actually going to send that to my
John.
high school friends that I hated and go, see, Anthony Cassese is my guest. Take that, Mo.
Yeah,
That's
stick that
great,
in.
man. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So are you do you tell me about your circle of friends because I'm always interested. Well, let me ask this question. Stand up comedy because you're also a comic, and the name of your tour is called Stop Worrying About Everything Tour, which is fan frigging tastic, right? What a great name! Stop worrying about everything. That's Netflix material right there, brother. Um, so tell me about your show because I was watching some of the clips, but so the people who are listening, when they come see Anthony Cassese uh, at the clubs, and we'll talk about some of your upcoming shows. What are they going to see?
Oh man. Well, first you're gonna see me. I'm ecstatic anytime I see someone I know. I mean, I probably have what they call the golden retriever energy, where I will see you at a show, and if I even like remotely recognize you, I'll be like, "Do I know you?" I'll somehow try to like start picking you apart and like saying like, "Do I know you from somewhere? You look really familiar." And you know, I think that goes back to like I love doing stand up. I love writing, but I love the people. People are what make me. I feel like, you know, we don't give people enough credit. But, you know, if I want to be a big famous comedian, if I want to go on big tours and quit my day job and really do it the right way, you have to make sure the people love you and you have to be willing to go the extra mile. You can't just expect something to be what it is. So when I go to do a show, I am very much so 100%. When you get me, I'm on fire because I'm so excited to be there in the first
Wow.
place. trickle in a couple people I love,
Oh
trickle in
man.
new faces. I'm on fire. I can't wait to see new people, and I love bringing them into that circle.
So are you do you find is your comedy material more just purely about riffing with the audience, like just having a dialogue with them, or are you coming up with a 5 minute set, or are you more about let's chat and
It really depends, you know. You roll with the punches as a comic. You got to be flexible. You stay fluid. Sometimes I want to talk about a story. Sometimes I don't want to talk at all, and I'll just ask the audience one question, and that's it. You know, we'll riff for 5 minutes, and that's an easy show right there. But you know, the I have some upcoming shows that probably are going to be much more structured than they have in the past, which will be a challenge for me, but exciting at the same time.
All right. Well, let's talk about some of your upcoming shows. Tell us and our billions and billions of listeners where they can see you.
Yeah, so if you've been following me on social media, I've been talking about it quite a bit. But our next show is in Brooklyn at one of my favorite comedy clubs, Eastville Comedy Club. That's going to be on the
Yeah,
17th. That is one
of
of the
July.
clubs that, yeah, that's one of the clubs that I've been doing mics at and just meeting some of the new comedians for months and months since I've gotten into it.
Nice.
And then our next show, the 20th of July, will be at the Stand in Manhattan. And I'm beside myself. I was able to get these two venues. They're just
Good for you,
amazing
man.
venues.
I I don't know why you'd be so surprised, man. I think I think you're funny and you're very engaging, and I think you would. I'd love to share a stage with you. I mean, I'd like to go on before you because you'll bring everybody up, and I just want to make sure because after I bring everybody down, you're like, all right, now here's someone to fix what I just did. So, oh, that's great. Do you have family? You have brothers and sisters? You talk about your parents. Do you have siblings that are just like completely sick of you because you're just so damn happy all the time? I mean, what do you
Yeah,
stack up in the
yeah.
in the family structure?
Yeah, my siblings, I think my optimism actually kills people. I don't know. People I know and people ask
Oh,
me.
for sure.
They'll like come out very forthrightly and say, "Why are you so happy all the time?" And people will ask like, "Are you on drugs? Are you messed up? Are you?" And
And
I'm
you
not.
say
I'm just
yes.
yeah. Well,
Yes, I
for
am.
all intents and purposes, given the setting here.
That's right. That's right. Like I
But
tell my kids, I'm like, if you take the right drugs, you could do anything.
yeah, no. So I have my little sister who support my family supports me to a fault. My brother probably sees from my point of view more than anybody, and he supports me.
Yeah.
And I need his support as my older brother. He doesn't realize it, but
There you go.
I need his support more than probably anybody in my circle.
Wow. That is for people who are listening who have siblings. People should hang out with you more, man, because you're like your energy and your is infectious. I mean, it's really making me ill, and I just got to tell you that because to have this kind of just this rosy optimism, given all the crap that's just happening, and you and I were a little chatting before we got on. You watch apparently a lot of news, although you keep the news on for your dog. So your dog is probably ready to kill himself after watching the news. But I mean, there's a lot of crap going on in our world today. I mean, domestically, internationally. But I mean, to find someone who's got this infectious energy is it's disturbing. I just want you to know that. No, it's awesome. It's really awesome.
They told me I had to watch my mouth here, so I'll let that one slide.
No, that's great, man. I can tell you that's I'm excited to follow you because I was reading some of the comments that people say. Like this one, I didn't write her name down, but this one would say like I watch you every day. I mean, do you post every day? I mean, like kind of an upbeat,
People don't realize it because I keep my a lot of things in separate buckets of my life, but I do work a full-time position that keeps me occupied for the better portion of like all week. So content is really
Oh,
off the cuff. I'm not writing my content. It's very much so how
I
I
noticed
feel
that.
right now.
Yep.
It's not like I'm
Yeah.
planning on Tuesday to release a 10-second reel. Yeah, I don't have time for that.
Right.
I just
Right.
don't. I need to keep going. I got shit to do. I don't have time to slow down, and that's what resonates most with people because they know how I'm feeling in that moment, and I think they see
Right.
that.
You're commenting on your spontaneity. That's pretty darn cool. You have a funny video of you sitting on a boat. I don't know if that's your boat, and I think you were wearing maybe that's where you work. It was like LAZ parking or something like that, and you're on
Right.
a like a Zoom call, and you like and some guy hands you a beer, and you're like F it, and you just take off your shirt and you jump in the water, and I'm just like, yeah, that's you. I don't. That makes it spontaneous, but
I was with my
there's a lot of
brother.
people who like to be.
Yeah, I
That was
was
your
with my brother.
bro.
And yeah, yeah, he was like, and he knows nothing about content. He's like a man's man, my brother. He's a caveman. He's like, you want to
He's
make
a
a video?
caveman.
Let's Yeah, he's like, you want to make a video? Let's make a video. And I'm like, you don't know what you're doing. He doesn't, but he supports me and he wants me to know that, and that is something that I need. You need to feel that sense
Hmm.
of belonging in your innermost connected relationships, and we made that video on the boat the one day when I probably should have been on a Zoom call.
I love it, man. That's so freaking funny. That is really funny. Well, this has just been a really this has been just a very uplifting show. I'm actually going to go out and buy a lotto ticket. That's how good I feel right now. I
Oh
mean,
man.
I don't really I don't talk to people as optimistic as you. Everyone I talk to are just like downers, and they may actually be just okay, but you're just so upbeat. I mean, I can't. I've never met anyone like you before. I mean, it's really making me feel very inferior.
It was something I had to learn. I really didn't understand it. I felt like I couldn't be this person for a lot of years. I felt like this was too much for
Okay.
people. And,
Yeah.
I love people in general. I love humanity. I love that I think most people mean well for the most part ish, kind of, maybe not really, but okay. But,
Yep.
I want to make sure I'm living a life that is on my terms, and I want to be happy. Did I have the longest day of my life today before I got on with you? Absolutely, but this is where I am now,
Wow.
and I want to enjoy
Okay.
this now. I don't want that to like suck the life out of me, like.
I don't blame you, man. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. I feel like a loser next to you right now, man. I really do.
No, don't,
And I'm not.
don't.
My life is actually okay. I'm pretty happy, and I'm just like nothing compared to this guy, man. It's infectious. All right. So Anthony, we have a little bit on the show that I call repeat offenders. I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and you're good. You're spontaneous. And so this maybe shouldn't be, and they're kind of crazy questions. First thing that comes to your mind, and just spill it out, all right? I didn't tell your manager this because she was like, can you tell me what you're doing? I'm like, no, I can tell you what I'm doing. So, all right.
Let's
And
see
by the
what you
way,
got.
you're like the only comic that I've known that. You're the only comic I know that I've dealt with that actually has a manager. I mean, God bless you, man. You know what? I would. Can I manage you? I don't need to manage you. I just want to hang out with you. I'm just gonna hang. I
I'm
want to come see
so
one of your shows and
lucky.
just walk out.
I am such a lucky individual. I feel that. I really do. I don't know how I made it this far, but man, I feel very lucky.
You are. You should, man. Keep this infectious energy going. All right, here we go. Question number 1. Repeat offenders. Anthony CESSESE from New Jersey. If you could invite anyone over to your house for dinner, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh man,
Don't say your brother because he already joins you.
Chris Farley all day.
Dead or alive? And Chris Farley, right? Good one. Oh
Could you
yeah,
see him just
love him.
like in your living room, just like taking up space, just like
Doing the
screaming, like
motivational speaker thing. Remember that? Where he did lived in the van
yeah,
down by the river?
living
Oh
in
my
a van
God.
down by the river, and he's just like going crazy. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that guy. Oh my God. I actually knew his cousin. I knew his cousin. I'm from Chicago, and she lived in
No
Chicago
kidding.
and worked in the television industry where I worked for you. Yes, and And when he passed, she went up to his funeral because he was from Wisconsin. So, all right. Question number 2: if you could tour with any comic, dead or alive, maybe it's Chris Farley, who would it be? Dead or alive? Anybody?
I think that's tough. I mean, somebody that I'm really like I've been loving their writing and content recently is Mike Somerville.
Okay.
I don't know that he's like a huge comic, but he makes some of the best skits I've ever seen. Like things that like are just
Really?
perfect.
Okay.
I would love to tour with that man. Whew.
All right.
Oh,
Mike Somerville. Well, more people will now know his name. All right. So, question number 3: if you were a ghost, who would you spend the most time haunting?
I had this teacher back in like sixth grade, Mr. Herman,
Oh, here we go. Here we
and
go.
you know, I was a misguided kid, and every time I walked into class, Mr. Herman would say, "Would you like some fries with that?" And I never understood what he meant.
Yeah.
And then one day I asked him, I said, "Why do you keep asking me that?" And he said, "Because you're going to turn out to be a low-life loser working at McDonald's." So
Wow. That's
I
your
would spend the rest
teacher?
my teacher. Yeah, kids, you better keep your eyes peeled. That's what I had to deal with.
Oh my God. That guy still has a job. How did that guy keep his job?
It wasn't even like a
man.
real class either. It was like wood shop or something. He wasn't even like a real I don't even know who vetted this guy, but like, yeah, I would haunt him for the rest of my life. His life,
What's his name?
his kids' lives.
Mr. What? Mr. Who? What's his
Herman.
name? Mr. Herman, man. I gotta be. You know what? If you might be dead or alive, either way, Anthony Cassese is going to ghost you, man. He is going to ghost you. All right. Question number 4: if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what food would you choose? Any food.
Oh man.
What's your favorite food?
I mean, pizza. You can't go wrong with pizza.
Pizza. Very New York, Jersey. That's a good answer. Very good answer. All right, last question for you. This one takes a little bit more thought, but you're going to do the first thing that comes to your mind. If you had to wear a sign, well, actually, I know where this is going. If you had to wear a sign around your neck for the rest of your life, what would it say?
There's so much.
And don't say, do you want fries with that? Because that would not be the answer that I would say.
I don't know. That's tough. That's a head scratcher.
That's a head scratch.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you want, or like, do you need something?
What do you want? Yes.
I don't know.
You need something?
I feel like people are just like consistently like bothering me over like remedial things. So like it'd probably be like one of those questions, like, do you need something?
What do you want? That's actually a great shirt. It just says, what do you want? You know, and people are
Yeah,
like, wait, what do you mean? I don't know. What do you want? You're looking at me. You're looking at my shirt. What do you want?
You're talking to me. You must want
That's actually very
something. I
funny.
mean, what's the angle?
You must want something. That's right. That's right. Well, this was fun. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, man. I mean, so I get out a little bit. My wife lets me out of the house every now and then, and I would love to come and see you. I'm going to check your website because I got some shows coming up. I guess I should announce some of my shows because
Definitely.
I keep forgetting to do that, and my producers keep reminding me. And so, okay, so I got a show. I got to look at my calendar here because I just forgot the dates. So I got to make sure I get this in. So, all right. So Friday, July 19th, I'm at the Broadway Comedy Club, 7 o'clock p.m.
Great spot.
That's going to be a really cool show. There's some great comics. Yeah. And then Tuesday, July 23rd, the Stress Factory in Bridgeport. Great club, Anthony. I'd love to see you get your butt up there. I think you do really well up there. And that's a live taping show. So I think we're going to make you sign your lives away. And then on the let's see, I think on the August 2nd, I'm back at the Broadway Comedy Club for a late show, a 9:55 show. So I probably will be sound.
John, do you
But
know
that's
what
okay.
room you're in?
I do
over
sometimes.
At the Broadway. Are you in the
Broadway
industry room or?
Yes, I'm downstairs in the industry room. Yes.
Nice.
Oh, and I'm at Comic Strip Live on the 25th, 8 p.m. Over at the Upper East Side. So, and I hope you know what, if you ever want to come to, I should probably. I think we're updating my website. Maybe I should. But if you ever want to come to, we don't live that far from each other. If you want to come to a show, I will make sure I charge you double. And and if I want to come to a show, you can charge me triple. So we'll make it work.
You can bet on that then. I'll make sure I let my management team know I need to attend a couple shows.
Yes. Yes. I really enjoyed working with your manager, Mary. She was very pleasant to work with, and she is a big fan. So, I mean, I have nothing like that. So God bless you, man. You've got someone who's actually looking out for you. And
I'm very lucky, John.
You need time. You are very lucky, man. We're very lucky. We're all very lucky to have you on the show and to feel this incredible energy through our Riverside app that we do our show on. So,
yeah, this has been a really great experience. I had a lot of fun.
excellent, man. Anthony CESSESE from New Jersey, a huge content creator, has over 140,000 followers, a very versatile comic, and just one happy dude. And that is just a great way to end the show.
Chef's kiss.
Brother.
Thank you, John. I appreciate
Chef's kiss. Thank you, man. And to everyone listening, this was another sit-down stand-up with John Malkin. That is me, John Malkin, Anthony CESSESE. Thank you much. And we are out of here.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Sit Down Stand Up with John Malkin. Make sure to follow John on social media at John Malkin Live. See you next time, and don't forget to think while you laugh.